Welcome to the Edge Builder Safety Training video number 7. In this video, we will be covering operation and safe use of the bridge crane. According to the government statistics, 90% of crane accidents are due to human error, and on average 80 people a year are killed. Not only are crane operators being injured or killed, but fellow workers and bystanders too. When accidents happen, everyone can be held liable. This includes the crane operator, the company, and the property owner. With tons of material to be craned every work shift, being safe is important. At Edge Builder, employee safety is a priority. Each workstation is set up to safely accommodate a specific job function. This can only be possible when each employee embraces a high level of responsibility, not only their safety, but the safe operation of the workstation and fellow employees. The following are common sense Edge Builder worker policies. No drug or alcohol use. Edge Builder has a zero tolerance policy. Any employee found under drug and or alcohol influence will be terminated. Any medication prescribed by a doctor which could affect worker safety should be discussed with your supervisor. Any employee feeling ill during work hours should notify their work supervisor. Here are a few more common sense worker policies for Edge Builder. Safety glasses must be worn on the shop floor. Steel-toed shoes or boots are a requirement. Your shoes must also be of the non-slip variety and in good condition. Employees should avoid wearing loose clothing or jewelry that might get caught in the equipment mechanism, causing bodily damage. Ear protection is strongly recommended but not required. On our shop floor, we have 3 one-ton bridge crane stations. As an employee of Edge Builder, operating any one of these stations presents some risk of injury to yourself or others in the station area. For safety reasons, only designated employees trained by a qualified or competent crane operator can use these stations. At Edge Builder, to become designated, first-time users of the bridge cranes should do so only after proper training and review of its use with the floor supervisor. With tons of wall panels being craned each work shift, let's walk through the safe use of bridge cranes at Edge Builder. Because wall panel loads will be hoisted more than 5 foot high, anyone in the crane's lifting range must wear a hard hat. Before crane operation begins, the first step is to complete a visual inspection of the working area. Make sure the path the wall panels are to be moved is clear of obstructions and any employees nearby are out of the way. Once the area is clear, the next step is to do a visual inspection of the crane components. Start by checking out the hoist body. Looking for fluid leaks. Evidence of a fluid leak can be found with oil marks on the shop floor underneath where the crane hoist has been parked. Next, make sure the push button station cable is free and clear and not wrapped around the hoist or load chain. Visually check the load chain links to make sure they are uniform in appearance, free from kinks, and there is no evidence of wear. Make sure the hook latch is set properly and there are no cracks, bend deformations, or weld marks on the hook body. The panel lift should set properly with the saddle of the hook and should spin freely without any hang-ups. At the end of the panel lift arms, inspect the grippers to make sure none are worn, loose, or missing. If any of these items look out of the ordinary, do not operate the crane and contact the floor supervisor immediately. The next step is a quick check of the station control buttons. Briefly raise and lower the crane without a load attached to verify that all the buttons are functioning correctly. If the buttons are sticky or operate opposite than indicated, let the floor supervisor know immediately. At the same time, listen to the crane during this test. If anything sounds out of the ordinary, contact your floor supervisor. With the visual inspection completed, the next step is to determine that the wall panel to be lifted is a safe working load under the 2,000-pound limit of the hoist. Remember that the 1 ton or 2,000-pound limit includes the combined weight of the 150-pound panel lift, lower hook, load chain, and wall panel. The bottom line is if you are not sure or question a heavy load to be lifted, do not lift it. Instead, contact the floor supervisor for further instructions. Critical to safe lifting at Edge Builder is the correct sizing of the panel lift arms. They are adjustable to fit wall panels between 7 to 12 feet in height. If the lift arms are too long for the wall panel to be lifted, the grippers will not hold and you are at risk of prematurely dropping the load. Shown here with the panel lift arms correctly adjusted is a close-up of the gripper securely holding the load. If the load you are trying to crane looks any different or you are unsure for any reason, contact the floor supervisor to verify the proper arm sizing before proceeding with the lift. Next, maneuver the panel lift directly over the center of the wall panel to be hoisted. Now lower the panel lift so that the gripper holds completely rest against the top and bottom plates of the wall panel as shown in the video. With your hands free and clear of the gripper holds, raise the load several inches and stop. Before moving the load any further, this is the point where several judgment calls are made. First, does it appear that the grippers are securely holding the wall panel? Secondly, is the load balanced? If not, lower the load, adjust the placement of the panel lift, and raise the load again several inches. Repeat this process until the load is balanced. To move the load, press and hold the up control button. Don't feather the control buttons as this will cause the load to jump up and down, risking a premature load drop. Release the up button when the wall panel load reaches a height that will clear all obstructions, but not higher than necessary. Then pull the load in a straight line to your destination point without swinging the load. Important: never move the load over the top of you or others. When transporting the load, stay focused on the task at hand and don't carry a conversation on with others. Once the destination is reached, reverse the process by smoothly lowering the panel onto its place. Then return the panel lift so it is safely out of the way, ready for the next lift. Here are some do's and don'ts while operating the overhead crane. Do check for lockout tagout tags before operating the crane. Do report any malfunctions, unusual performance, or damage while operating the crane immediately. Do maintain firm footing while operating the crane. Do know the location of the electrical power panel should you need to shut down the crane in case of an emergency. Don't leave a load unattended while the load is suspended. Don't use the crane to drag a load or perform a side pull. Don't allow people to ride a load. Don't remove or obstruct the warning labels on the hoist. Don't operate the hoist beyond the limits of the bridge, trolley, or chain travel. This completes the overhead bridge crane safety training video. At EdgeBuilder, employee safety is a priority. In this presentation, we reviewed the process of safely using the overhead bridge crane workstations and common sense EdgeBuilder worker policies. If you have any questions on the use of the overhead bridge crane workstations, please contact the floor supervisor.